It has traveled far dates back to the earliest known breakfast foods to become the greatest American breakfast sausage. Here's Toastmaster Brandon Moore to tell what he has researched in this second part of the breakfast series. Please welcome Toastmaster Brandon Moore.
Thank you, Mark. Good morning, Toastmasters and distinguished guests.
Good morning.
Very pleased to be speaking to you guys again today about another breakfast subject. A few weeks ago, you guys might remember I announced to you what the greatest breakfast food of all time was. Does anybody remember? Eggs. The hard-boiled egg. Well, I did more research. In fact, I did a lot of research, possibly too much, about 7.5 minutes worth. And what I found out is there is another great breakfast treat. This one is also hard-boiled, but it is also soft and chewy. This breakfast treat is so common that in 1384, the Empress Jadwiga of Poland gave up her normal breakfast indulgent breads for this common man's treat to show sacrifice for Lent. How benevolent of her. You won't find this at a French pastry shop hiding behind a glass. This is a common man's food. Has anybody guessed it yet?
Snickers.
Shaped kind of like a donut, but in fact it is a bagel. The greatest breakfast food the world has ever known. Reason being, it's the greatest engineered piece of bread. I have research to prove that. Number two, it became the backbone of America in the 1960s. And number three, what you can put on a bagel. So let's get started with the engineering of the bagel. Now, as Carson might know, when you spin an object on its axis, it becomes a torus, which allows it to travel far. Hence the engineering. But the hole in the middle in the disc-like shape wasn't just for tossing to your Toastmaster friend in case they forgot their Frisbee. But in fact, it had another purpose. And that's where the engineering comes in. The hole in the middle helps the dough bake evenly. Otherwise, it would just be a gooey ball. But the hole in the middle of the bread also helps it travel, not just through space to go to another dimension known as Carson Schaefer, but on ropes and poles for display. That's how it got to America. But that's not all to know about the bagel and its engineering. It is also boiled, which creates this nice outer crust, gelatinizing the starches and sealing it in. But how did it become the backbone of America? Well, in the 1960s, Jewish American German bakers engineering the fastest made breakfast food in the Silicon Valley of breakfast foods in New York, and it became the fastest food. A good baker could bake 832 bagels per hour. In fact, that's what you had to bake to be a member of Union 338, the best union in New York. Now, they were producing thousands of bagels. Sweatshops, these conditions were tough, so they went on strike. They went on strike and they demanded more money. It was said that a baker could make up to $150 a week, which is equivalent to $80,000 a day. But it wasn't always that way. They had to go on strike to earn that, and when they went on strike, New York nearly grinded to a halt, making bagels the backbone of America. No breakfast food has ever stopped New York City. The bagel did. But it returned once they got their proper pay that they deserved, because part of that was basically slave labor. And the third most important point that we're going to discuss today about the bagel is, what can you put on a bagel? Everything. This is the Noah's Ark of breakfast food, people. Literally everything. I mean, they even have a spice called everything. I think we have them here today. And you can find these anywhere. Right here at Winter Park Toastmasters, you can put your salmon back there on a bagel. You can put cream cheese on a bagel. You can put steak, sausage, chicken. Try to think of something you can't put on a bagel. And there we have the third reason why the bagel is the greatest American breakfast food. Alas, Toastmasters, we have learned so much today. Jadwiga, the Polish empress, dined on this common food. It nearly shut down New York. And you can put everything but the kitchen sink on a bagel. It is truly the mothership of breakfast foods. And the most important thing, it fits in your pocket.